Oh, yeah. Is it Monday already? Is it time to predict episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Andor Season 2? Yeah, that's right. The weird release schedule of 3 episodes per week continues, and this week we have episode 4, 5, and 6. Where we left off last week with Take Homa driving away with Cinta. Now we are a year later. What has happened? What has happened in the last year? What is happening in this upcoming episodes? Well, we're going to predict all of it. But we have more than just that because Ian McDiarmid, the man, the myth, the legend behind Emperor Palpatine, has confirmed that there was a Palpatine series in the works that featured Darth Plagueis the Wise. And so we're going to talk about that. And Ahsoka Season 2 has officially begun filming. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Monday? It's Monday, right? Monday afternoon. Okay, so we are about, 26, 7 hours, whatever it is. We are about a day away from Andor episodes 4, 5, and 6. Which is great and all, but Ian McDiarmid drops the bombshell that we were almost going to get a Darth Plagueis and Palpatine show at one point. It was in development. That's pretty crazy, but not only that, he talks about coming back as Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker, and because we are crazy Star Wars fans, we're going to talk about the possibilities of seeing a post-Acolyte story that features Darth Plagueis and maybe even a young Palpatine. We got so much to get into today because Andor Season 2 is tomorrow, or episodes 4, 5, and 6 are tomorrow, but I feel like it's not even the most important thing. Because people forget that Tales of the Underworld comes out in 6 days. Yeah, that's right. May the 4th, which is Sunday, next Sunday, is going to be when Tales of the Underworld with Asajj Ventress and Cad Bane will drop. So we got an insane week of Star Wars ahead of us. And Andor Season 2 might just be the tip of the iceberg. So with that being said, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Oh, we got a super chat before the live stream even starts. That's what I like to see, chat. That's what I like to see. Okay. Rachel, what is up? Droopy McCool, of course, in the house. Starship 66, how we doing? Brandon Baker in the house. Matthew, what is up? Adam, how we doing? 50 Thunder, what is up? Justin, how we doing? Mando United in the house. Holly, what is up? Kit Fisto, just watched you die on the big screen on Friday night. Pretty epic. R.I.P. Kit Fisto. Ian, what is up? How we doing? All right, if I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, so we actually have to talk about just a little bit. Got to talk about the crazy weekend that was the re-release of Revenge of the Sith. So the numbers have been released. Not only did it make almost $30 million just in the United States, but it made almost $50 million globally. So Revenge of the Sith re-releases and has the second biggest re-release weekend of all time. It's absolutely insane. Not only do I think Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie ever, and of course people would argue Empire Strikes Back and in A New Hope, and I get those arguments. Those are my next two, with Rogue One thrown in there. But Revenge of the Sith is incredible. And seeing it on the big screen for the first time ever, because I was 3 years old when it released, for the first time ever was just awesome. Star Wars is meant to be watched on the biggest screen possible, and that was well worth it. So, yes, not only did I... Where is it? What? Oh, over here. Not only did I get this, but we did get a new Good Cup that follows orders that I showed off on Saturday's live stream. A little bit of a behind-the-scenes stuff of the channel. We did hit 150,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. So I appreciate all of you for hitting that subscribe. It's just words. They don't work when you talk about how incredible it is to hit 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. It doesn't work. So I'm not even going to try. I'll just say thank you. It is awesome, and yes, I did promise something that rhymes with door, and that is on the way. There's a little bit of a behind the scenes stuff that has to happen. There's still, I guess, reviewing my store, but it'll be out as soon as possible. I'm hoping for like a May the 4th type thing, which would be fan-frickin-tastic, but we'll see. We shall see. But until that is up and running, I'll keep you posted. But we did hit 150,000 subscribers, so that needs to be, celebrated. But we don't have much time today, so I can't be dilly-dallying around here. We got some Tales of the Underworld to talk about because they just dropped a new trailer. Of course, Andor is going to be the main focus of today's live stream. We got 3 episodes tomorrow, but Ian McDiarmid drops the huge bombshell that a Palpatine show was in the works. So let's talk about it. I think that's the right place to start. And before we even pull up this article of what Ian McDiarmid had to say, let's pull this up. Okay? Do you want a young Palpatine show? Yes or no? This show would feature Darth Plagueis as his master and probably show the death of Darth Plagueis and maybe even reveal finally in canon how Anakin came to be. But, let me get to that super chat too. Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, oh my God, there's a fly in here, chat. Oh, damn it. Says, this is where the fun begins. I appreciate that quite a bit. Super chats, memberships, keep the lights on over here. And yes,
this is where the fun begins.
I appreciate it, guys. I see all the congrats on 150. This fly is going to be the death of me, chat. Damn it. Okay. I'll catch it. I'll catch it, chat. I promise. Maybe I won't, but we'll figure it out. Okay. Ian McDiarmid. I feel so all over the place today. There's too much to get to that I can't even start. Okay. Let's start with this article. Let's start here, chat. We got to start somewhere. Ian McDiarmid discusses the Emperor's return in The Rise of Skywalker and a Palpatine series. Mike Miyagi? Apparently not. Apparently not. Okay. This weekend, Disney and Lucasfilm celebrated the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith with a re-release that has already started to break box office records. As such, we've gotten some fun instances of people like Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson appearing at screenings where Samuel L. Jackson dropped the bomb that Mace lives, or at least that he believes that Mace lives, and that sparked the argument in the Star Wars fandom yet again, as people have debated for the last 20 years as to whether or not Mace Windu survived the fall. Tell me in the chat. I think it's possible, but, it's an argument to be had. We've also gotten new interviews from some of the cast members, like Ian McDiarmid, who sat down with Variety to discuss not just the 20th anniversary, but his history with the Star Wars franchise as a whole. The conversation ranged from when he was first cast in Return of the Jedi, George Lucas bringing him back for the prequel trilogy, and even the possibility of a Palpatine series. One key thing that sticks out is that McDiarmid talked about... It's right there. You guys see it? It's on the microphone stand right now. Did I get it? Did I get it yet? I don't see it on the floor. I don't know if I got it. I don't know if I got it. I hope I got it. Okay. Sorry, chat. Just, fly business. Okay. One key thing that sticks out is that McDiarmid talked about his unexpected return to the franchise with The Rise of Skywalker. So, bringing back the Emperor for the final film of the sequel trilogy certainly got a big reaction from the people when it was announced at Celebration back in 2019. When the film finally came out, however, the reception was much more mixed, with a lack of satisfying explanation for how he survived the events of, oh my God. 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 holla. I appreciate that. Says Scream Test. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, but where was I? So a lot of people have mixed opinions as for bringing back Palpatine and how it was executed. Palpatine was brought back in Legends time and time and time again. The only difference here is there's not that much of an explanation. Now, in 2025, there is a pretty good explanation. We have the whole backstory from comics and novels that really and it's still being explained, but Project Necromancer and Exegol and all that stuff, we have some sort of an explanation. But in 2019, at the time of the release of The Rise of Skywalker, the only explanation was somehow Palpatine returned. And that wasn't enough for us Star Wars fans, as we like to dissect everything in the Star Wars universe. Now, the same can be said about a line like, I fought with your dad in the Clone Wars, like Obi-Wan says to Luke in A New Hope. In that, at the time, people in the theaters in 1977 were probably like, what the hell's the Clone Wars? What is a Clone War? And that was kind of the same thing. We were like, somehow Palpatine returned. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And now that it's been more explained, it is what it is. But now that Project Necromancer has been sort of the plot of the Bad Batch, it's been a big plot of the Mandoverse, and it continues to be explained over and over and over again, it's becoming more accepted, if you will. So, The Rise of Skywalker, Palpatine's return, back in 2019 was something else, and now it's more explained. But Ian McDiarmid chimes in. The reception was mixed, with a lack of satisfying explanation for how he survived, and despite the claims that it was always planned, the reveal of Rey being the granddaughter felt a lot like it was just an attempt to respond to some of the backlash that was directed towards The Last Jedi. Ian McDiarmid remained a high point of the film with his scene chewing performance. Sure. He spoke about the conversation regarding Palpatine having children, including the theory that he created Anakin using midichlorians. So he really dives deep into this. So here's what Ian McDiarmid had to say about it. There were talks in The Phantom Menace about something called midichlorians, which were involved somehow in Anakin's birth. George Lucas didn't want to go too deep into that, much like Yoda's species, much like The World Between Worlds, much like some of the new stuff in the Ahsoka series and in the Mandoverse, like the Night Sisters, Peridia. Some of that, the Mortis Gods, some of that doesn't need to be explained. Some does, but some of it doesn't. And George Lucas thought the mystery of Anakin's birth, the mystery of how Anakin came to be, was sort of the good part, and they did not need to go into too much depth in that field. But we reckoned it was kind of a virgin birth, though one ought not to say that because God knows you get all sorts of complications. Of course, with the Star Wars fandom, everybody wants an explanation for everything. Then people ask the slightly embarrassing question about, does this evil monster ever have sex? Oh, okay, that took a turn. Does Palpatine ever, do that thing? And we don't really know the answer to that question either. Things in tubes, about probably rather than an awful version, might have in your head of this monster ever having sexual relationships with anybody. So it's more the conversation of how does he have a granddaughter, and that is explained now. We know that he has cloned versions of himself, trying to create a Force-sensitive clone, and that eventually becomes a non-Force-sensitive clone named Dathan, who does have, a child named Rey. When asked about the reception of The Rise of Skywalker, Ian McDiarmid defended the film by arguing that the Empire would more than likely have a backup plan, and that's always been the case in Legends and now into canon as well. Is Palpatine? He's a freaking genius. He's the guy who created an entire galaxy-wide war. Himself versus himself. The leader of the Republic, the leader of the Separatists. Him versus him. An entire galaxy-wide war, just all created and manipulated by Palpatine himself. Then he takes over the entire galaxy, kills tens of thousands of Jedi, or 10,000 Jedi, and rules the galaxy for about 20 years until Luke Skywalker, Leia, and the Rebellion, and all that stuff happens. But even still, even in his old age, in Return of the Jedi, he still has this just master manipulation over all the events that are happening in the galaxy. So you can't tell me that guy wouldn't have a backup plan. And we obviously know what that backup plan is now, Project Necromancer, and how that works. But he's obviously going to have a backup plan. So, with that being said, he says this. Well, there's always something. isn't there? I don't read that stuff, and I'm not online. So he's talking about the hate of the movie and the bad reception of the movie. And he says there's always something. So it only reaches me if someone mentions it to me. I thought there might be a bit of fuss about bringing him back, but as I said, mine and Palpatine's logics are entirely reasonable. This man who was horribly maimed, sure, thought maybe one day it might happen to him. Man who's oh, I got you. Of course, the death of himself. And you've got to have a plan B. I love the whole idea that he should have come back and been even more powerful than before, though this time he had to be utterly destroyed. So I think he's dead this time. I mean, somehow Palpatine Returns Part 2, you know, that's what fans have been asking for since 2019. Clearly, no. But yes, we believe that Palpatine is dead for good this time. This time. But only time will tell. Yeah. Okay. In theory, most people won't agree with the idea that Palpatine having would not agree with the idea of Palpatine having a contingency plan. If the film as a whole had been stronger, perhaps people would have been more willing to go along with it. Still, Ian McDiarmid's decision not to pay much attention to that stuff and stay far away from social media is something that any actor joining Star Wars or a big franchise can learn from. Yeah, if you want to see a lot of hate online, then don't go online because it's there. It's all over the place. Yeah, exactly. When video games do better than movies as far as storytelling, I think it's time to make a change. Well, I mean, the storytelling has completely flipped on its head, you know? Turn your mic up. My mic, it's the same volume as usual. If I turn it up, it'll be popping too much. I can't do that. Maybe you just got to turn it up on your end. It's quiet for you too. What's going on here, Chad? It's the same volume as usual. What? Palpatine kills Chimera? I'd be down for that. I'd be 100% down for that. Okay. But he goes on to talk about this Palpatine show. So let's talk about this. There's been long been calls for further Palpatine stories, a young Palpatine series, like the poll says in the chat, namely exploring his backstory with his master Darth Plagueis, who was first introduced into live action for the first time ever last year. But Darth Plagueis. And Darth Plagueis lives, I think. You still in the chat, Darth Plagueis lives? Maybe. Okay, I'll go with the mic. Okay. Then maybe it was just on their end. Okay, fine. It's your fault, chat. That's your fault. Okay. So, Ian McDiarmid was asked about the series that was allegedly in development at one point and if George Lucas had ever shared the character's backstory with him. He didn't explicitly confirm or deny the assertion of a show existing. Only added about about Darth Plagueis. He said, it's fairly obvious that my character murdered Darth Plagueis on his road to becoming Palpatine. But beyond that, no. With George, you didn't discuss anything, really. You turn up and you shoot. These films take a long time to make, and the pressure is intense for many different reasons. Of course, George was at the forefront of all of that, so a busy man. He wasn't asking way too many questions. However, Darth Plagueis was always murdered by Palpatine. That is something that always happened. Okay? With Revenge of the Sith still playing in theaters once again, Ian McDiarmid was asked about his time with the prequel trilogy. He says his role as Senator Palpatine wasn't mapped out at all. So here's the big deal. Here's where the controversy comes into play. So many people don't like the sequel trilogy, and some people do, and some people don't. It's a very divisive thing, to say the least. But one of the biggest complaints about the sequel trilogy, and one of mine as well, is that it wasn't planned out from the beginning. Again, if Palpatine was originally going to come back from The Force Awakens, Rey was always going to be the granddaughter of Palpatine from The Force Awakens, that it might have worked better because you could have teased it a little bit here and there, and maybe you had some sprinkle ins a little Palpatine there, sprinkle in a little Palpatine there, and a little bit there. But no, it wasn't. And that seems to be a huge complaint when it comes to the sequel trilogy. Everybody's like, oh, George had this big plan. George always had a plan. George always had plan. No, he didn't. He really did not. He made a script for 12 movies, which got reinvented a million different times. But no, he didn't have a plan. Oh my God. Holy crap. Jordan Rennie. And let me plan. Guys, plan, okay? Let's keep me on that track. Holy crap. Jordan Rennie with a $100 hauler. What the hell? Jordan with a very generous $100 super chat. Holy crap. Says, what's up? Young Palpatine show? Yes, please. Jordan, that's insanely generous. I appreciate that quite a bit. Holy crap. But I appreciate that. And yes, Young Palpatine show. Well, let's get to it. So George Lucas always said that he had a plan, or fans always argued that George Lucas had a plan. He really didn't. He made A New Hope as a beginning and end, not thinking it was going to be a success. And then when the time came, he made the rest of the story, changing it as he went along. In the prequel trilogy, although thought to be very planned out, was the same way. Ian McDiarmid says this. When I first got the part, I had no idea what in the world was that I'd be in charge of as the Emperor. So it started off as a big mystery. I had no idea that Palpatine would figure, or how Palpatine would figure into this whole story so heavily. But by then, it so happened that I was young enough to play the younger senator. So he plays the old version of Palpatine in the original trilogy. But he's only like, I don't know, 30. Ian McDiarmid is only like 30 playing an 100-year-old emperor or 70-year-old emperor. And it just so happens that by the time of the prequel trilogy, he's the perfect age to play a younger Palpatine as the senator that we see from Naboo. When I first met George about this, he said, "Do you know anyone who wants to play an emperor?" I said, "I think you know the answer to that question." And then I got the script and realized that he was more than one character, which made it even more fascinating to play. An ordinary, everyday, fairly hypocritical politician with a monster hiding inside his body. So he's pretty much talking about Palpatine and the Emperor as two different characters, which is pretty cool. But, oh my God. Jordan. Are you kidding me, Jordan? Calm down. Somebody calm down, Jordan, in the chat, please. Jordan with a $50 super chat. What? Just says, Sheev. Who gives Jordan access to money? Chat?
This is where the fun begins.
Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. Where was I? So pretty much what he's saying here is when he was pitched the idea of Palpatine, he sees it more so as two different characters. He's a politician pretending to be this politician, pretending to be this character that he's not, when Palpatine, the Emperor, Darth Sidious, if you will, is almost a different personality. Not that there's a split personality sort of thing going on there, but he sees them as almost two different characters when he portrays them, which is pretty cool. So, I have another thing here. Nope, not that one. This one. Yeah, so let's get to this one. I Hodja with a very generous $5 haul. I appreciate that. I Hodja says, I think that Jordan deserves the Wilhelm scream to play 150 times for that donation. No. Definitely not, but I appreciate it, I Hodja. I don't even know. I can't do that, possibly, so no. But let's get to this article, because I got a second one here. Star Wars Darth Plagueis prequel, so this is a continuation of that same interview, I believe. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? Thought not. And you probably never will either. I disagree with this. Let's not forget, 20 years ago, the character of Darth Plagueis was introduced to us. Okay? 20 years ago. Now, just last year, Jordan, calm down. Jordan, I'm gonna need you to calm down, Jordan. Jordan with another $50. What the fuck is going on here? Chat. I don't know. 150,000 subscribers yesterday. Jordan Rennie today. What is tomorrow? Oh, wait, it's Andor season 2, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Does the week just keep getting better? What's Wednesday? What's Wednesday, chat? Does it just keep getting better from here? Do we just keep going up and up and up? God. God. But he says, this is where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins.
Jordan's lost his mind. Okay, now I'm about to lose my mind. But as I was saying, Plagueis was introduced to canon 20 years ago. Now, 20 years later, he's seen in live action for the first time ever. For the first time ever. So to say that we'll probably never get a story about Plagueis, it's kind of just... I disagree. I think now more than ever, it's highly likely that we will be getting some sort of Plagueis story told, and probably young Palpatine involved with that story as well. But because it sounds like the planned Star Wars series following the character had been canceled before we even knew that it existed. This news comes from the main man, Ian McDiarmid himself, who you might know better as Darth the Emperor Sidious. In a recent interview with Variety's Todd Gilchrist, Todd. Okay, Ian McDiarmid was asked what happened to the planned Emperor Palpatine series and what it would have focused on, and he decided to just drop some lore regarding Darth Plagueis instead, saying what we just read before. When he was told about Plagueis, obviously Palpatine murdered Plagueis on his road to become Palpatine. But beyond that, no, George really didn't. He just said, show up and shoot things. And we already read that. So, as Ian McDiarmid notes, the canceled series seems to have been George Lucas's venture, not Disney's. That means it was likely canceled following Disney's takeover of the Star Wars IP. Again, that's just them assuming here. Yeah. Given that Lucas has stated in the past that none of his notes for the franchise were ever incorporated into the resulting films or TV shows, which is also a lie. Star Wars Rebels, The Bad Batch was George Lucas's idea. The Mandalorian itself wasn't, but it integrates ideas from George Lucas. And now even the Mall show is going to be integrating even more ideas from George. But also, it might have been a little bit too late for them to even go back to it, at least with Ian McDiarmid as the role. Because when you look at it now, Ian McDiarmid is, of course, only getting older. In the character of Palpatine, it would be a young version of Palpatine. So you'd have to recast the character. Now, there has been some fan casts out there, like a Tom Hiddleston as young Palpatine or something along those lines. And there's good ones. There's definitely some good ones. Tell me in the chat if you have a good young Palpatine recast. But it would really have to... Jordan, what are you doing, buddy? Jordan with an $100 again? Are my eyes deceiving me? This one is for our pal Droopy McCool. That's very generous. I will let Droopy know that one's just for him, and I'm sure he'll love that. You're crazy. But going back to this, so they'd have to recast Ian. So Ian would he'd have some sort of role in the show, I'm sure. Like they would bring him back to do something, I don't know what, but they would have him involved in the show. It's just they would have to recast the character in order to continue the character's story. Young Palpatine's story is crazy. Actually, I don't even know if it's canon. Because it's mostly from the Plagueis novel, right? 50 Thunder with a very generous $2 holla says, I just want to scream along with Jordan and I, Hodgett. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. But correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't all the young Palpatine stuff that we know, like him killing his parents and his whole family, and then, of course, becoming Plagueis' apprentice, isn't that all still legends, technically? So if we were to get this story of a young Palpatine, it would be the first ever canon variation of this, right? Now, we've been talking about, of course, Palpatine and Naboo and all that stuff, but keep Naboo in mind. So we got something pretty big coming on later on in the stream when it comes to next 3 episodes of Andor. But what do we think about this? Let's check out the poll in the chat right now. Yeah, 83% of you guys say yes. You want a young Palpatine show. And I absolutely agree with you. I think that's a no-brainer. You have to recast Palpatine, which is obviously a difficult thing. Ian is such a flies back. I didn't get it. Oh my God. It's such a difficult thing to do, is recast such a legendary character like that. I hauled you with a very generous $2 haul. I appreciate that. But in order to successfully tell a story of young Palpatine, it needs to have Plagueis. And the last time we saw Plagueis was in The Acolyte. And I know right then and there, people are going to just have The Acolyte in their heads and go, no, thank you. But a continuation of the characters of Chimera, the continuation of the character of Plagueis into a Palpatine series would be incredible, especially with the theories at the end of The Acolyte with Plagueis, Chimera possibly being over 100 years old, being Vanestra Rowe's apprentice and all that stuff. It would be incredible. Yeah. Plagueis, who will be him? Oh, who will be Plagueis? Well, Plagueis isn't really, you don't have to cast him as a person. I mean, obviously he has a voice, but that'd be a voice actor because Plagueis, as we see in The Acolyte, is not human. He's a Mun. And the Mun are these very tall, weird-looking creatures. You wouldn't have to cast him as anybody now. Yeah. So not only would you get a young Palpatine series with more Darth Plagueis, but then you could explain what happens at the end of The Acolyte for the people who wanted an Acolyte Season 2 like myself, without having to make an Acolyte Season 2 and have the backlash of making an Acolyte Season 2. So a young Palpatine show could pretty much answer all the questions. It could fix everything, as it would allow fans who loved The Acolyte and wanted to see more get that story extended. So a young Palpatine show might actually be the answer here in terms of more Acolyte, more Chimera. Because Chimera could, like, you could get either a flashback to Plagueis and Chimera and their story, or an explanation even, or maybe Chimera's still alive at that time. I don't know. But it would be the extension of the Acolyte that some fans want, while also telling the story that pretty much all fans want, at least 81% of you in the chat today want, and that is a young Palpatine series. So yeah, I do want a young Palpatine series. Ian McDiarmid teasing it like this is pretty annoying, to say the least, but only time will tell if this actually becomes a thing. There's things in the works at Lucasfilm right now that we really don't know much about, and this could be one of them, for all we know. Yeah. Okay, now let's switch our gears a little bit here to, well, I guess it's not really switching gears because we're talking about Revenge of the Sith, but the Revenge of the Sith, the Revenge of the Sith re-release has been breaking some records over the weekend. As you can see here, 4 movies cracked $20 million domestically in the United States. And in this order as well. Sinners, Revenge of the Sith, The Accountant 2, and the Minecraft movie. First time since the Barbenheimer. Why does that sound so wrong to me? I don't know. Era, when Barbie and Oppenheimer came out on the same weekend. So this is pretty wild because Revenge of the Sith made more money than new movies like Minecraft. Well, I guess Minecraft's been out for a while, but also The Accountant 2, which just released. So it's pretty damn wild. But it also did some pretty crazy stuff too. I have a... here it is. Yeah. Check this out. Oops. Revenge of the Sith shows lasting appeal with $42.2 million in its weekend opening. By the way, if you still haven't seen this yet, the re-release, you can watch it through the rest of this week. I think it's out until Friday, but I have no idea. If they're smart, they should extend it more, at least through the weekend. But it did say a limited release of a week. So I don't know if that means like Thursday to Thursday or what the deal is there. But this weekend, 2 decades after its initial theatrical release, Revenge of the Sith proved its lasting audience appeal by taking in an estimated $42.2 million globally. Now, why is this significant? Well, let's just say, the prequel trilogy was not that beloved when it came out in theaters the first time. The critics absolutely destroyed it, crapping on the acting of Hayden Christensen and other things like that. It wasn't the original trilogy. That was pretty much the big complaint, is it wasn't the original trilogy. And that was, for some people, just enough to make it not watchable, to make it so that they could just crap on it all day long. It wasn't the same story. It wasn't the same vibes as the original trilogy at all. It's a way more galactic-wide, political-based story that the original trilogy wasn't. Yes, there's some politics in the original trilogy, but not nearly as much as the prequels. And some fans just didn't like that. Some fans didn't like the character of Anakin being that young boy and then becoming this evil character, and the transition they thought was too quick, and because the Clone Wars didn't exist yet, they didn't have all that backstory with Ahsoka Tano and all this stuff. So it wasn't really beloved, to say the least, when it was released 20 years ago. However, the love for the prequel trilogy, especially within the last 5-10 years, has grown exponentially. Like, it's insane how beloved these movies are, myself included. I think Revenge of the Sith is the best Star Wars movie, and I think a lot of you would probably agree with that. Tell me in the chat, what's your favorite Star Wars movie? But they've become so beloved mostly because the audience that they were made for, the 10-year-olds, granted, probably a lot older than 10-year-olds, but all the kids that it was made for, the teenagers and kids that it was made for, are now all older. And they see that as their first Star Wars. They see that as the introduction point to the greatest franchise in the world. It's the same thing that will be said in 10 years about the sequel trilogy and about The Mandalorian, as is now with the prequel trilogy. So the Clone Wars and the prequels have grown this crazy new love. And that leads to a re-release that breaks freaking records. Like, absolutely insane records. Hang on, we got a super chat from iHodja. iHodja with a very generous $5 holla says, can't wait for A New Hope to be re-released for the 50th anniversary in 2027. I know. Well, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, what will be the next re-release? Because usually, well, we've had one every year for the last couple of years. Last year was The Phantom Menace. The year before that was Return of the Jedi, I think. Yeah. So, and now it's Revenge of the Sith. So next year, because it's 2026, there's only one movie that came out in a year ending in 6. And that was, well, can you tell me, chat? Do you know, chat? It will be celebrating its 10-year anniversary, and that is, yeah, Rogue One. Rogue One is celebrating its 10-year anniversary next year, so that would probably be the re-release, if they are going to re-release that. And then, yes, the following year will be the 50th anniversary of The Star Wars, A New Hope. Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. Indeed. Jordan Rennie has 612,000 credits. That's the super chats, chat. That'll do it. That's insane. Okay. Favorite Star Wars movies? We got Return of the Jedi, Empire. Prequels are mid. Oh my god. Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Yeah, we got it all over the place. Rogue One, Phantom Menace, Rogue One. Yeah. There you go. Oh my god. Agnes, what's up? How we doing? Of course I remember you. I didn't even read that you said it's Agnes. I just knew from the username. Okay? I don't forget things. I forget a lot of things. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that, chat. I just don't forget Agnes's name, okay? You miss me, Mike? Of course. I miss all you guys every day we're not streaming, every minute we're not streaming. But no, I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Okay. But let's talk about this a little bit more. First of all, give me a 1 into the chat. Did you see Revenge of the Sith in the theaters this weekend? Yes or no? Did you see Revenge of the Sith in theaters this weekend? Yes or no? I saw it on Friday, and it was my first time ever seeing it on the big screen, and I must say, it did not disappoint. I've heard some people going to see it in 4DX. This 4DX thing is pretty weird to me. I'm not a big fan, but yeah, I'm seeing it Wednesday. Nice. No, I saw it 20 years ago. Okay, well, I wasn't old enough, okay? God. Jordan, that's not how it works, but I appreciate it. Anthony says, I so wish they would re-release, goddamn, the Siege of Mandalore arc in theaters. That would be awesome. To see that on the big screen, that would be pretty cool. There are some things like that that would be so much better to see in a movie theater. It's the same thing as seeing like episode 5 of Ahsoka. Remember when episode 5 of Ahsoka came out with Anakin in the World Between Worlds, and they had it in the movie theaters because they knew that people would want to see this on the biggest screen possible? They should be doing that with a lot of other projects. I agree with you. What's with the credits, Mike? So there's a credit system now with the channel. So it's just sort of, if you super chat, like the stream, chat in the stream, just watch the stream, you get credits. And certain days I will turn on the gambling and we can gamble those credits away. That's sort of the behind the scenes thing going on here. The hatred for the prequels at the time, there was hatred for the prequels at the time, but they grew more beloved over time. Oh, I hated the prequels at the time, but they grew on me over time. Well, yeah, that's probably the case for a lot of people too, Rob, is because everybody was probably saying that they weren't good. And maybe, honestly, the prequel trilogy is more of a multiple watch type thing. Like, you grow to love it even more the more you watch it. That's a really tough thing to do. Sometimes, especially with the prequels, because it's this big climactic ending with this Anakin versus Obi-Wan thing and him becoming Vader. But sometimes a movie can be really, really good, but it's really good the first time because of the big twist ending or the big reveal or whatever it is. And it's really the best the first time. I actually think the opposite with Star Wars. It just keeps getting better over time, which is a very difficult thing to do when your movie's almost 50 years old. It's pretty difficult to accomplish. People can still watch A New Hope today and it still holds up. And it's not that it still holds up. It's still an incredible freaking movie. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's switch gears a little bit here to Andor Season 2. So, Andor Season 2, wait, what? Andor Season, oh, wait. Now, actually, before we get to Andor Season 2, I forgot I wanted to talk about this first, because this will be, we'll spend a lot of time on Andor Season 2, so I want to get to this before we get lost in the Andor predictions, okay? So, we got some behind-the-scenes stuff from Ahsoka Season 2 already. Take a look at this. Ahsoka has begun filming. Rosario Dawson posted this online. It says, and we're off to galaxies far, far away. Not just the galaxy far, far away. Galaxies. Multiple galaxies, because she's in Peridia. So that's her shadow. Getting ready for that. Nope, not that. This. Natasha Liu Bordizzo and Ivana Sacco. Sure. Sabine Wren and Shin Hati are in England, reunited for filming for Season 2. So we learn a couple things here. I mean, obviously they'll put a wig on her, but she's got longer hair there. So they're filming in England, at least to start, they're filming in England, which is pretty cool. I think a lot of the stuff, because what we see with Andor nowadays is filmed on location. We know that the Mandoverse uses the volume a lot. I think some of Ahsoka Season 2 will be filmed on location, and that's why they're probably up in England. Because when you look at Peridia, it's sort of the landscape of what's around there. But having said that, those are some behind-the-scenes stuff for Ahsoka Season 2. Oh, this was pretty interesting. Talking about me killing off everybody. This isn't me this time, chat. This isn't me, okay? But Rosario Dawson, if she knows if Ahsoka will survive Season 2. I mean, Ahsoka's already died, 3 times? She's died quite a bit. Or died, in parentheses. She says this to whether or not she even knows if she will survive the season. She says no. Because if anybody told me, I'd accidentally tell you, and then I get into a lot of trouble. So Dave is very sparing. I don't even know how the rest of the season is going. We've only are kind of getting the episodes piece by piece. So what Lucasfilm is very, very good at, in particular, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are very good at, is keeping a secret. When you look at Ahsoka in The Mandalorian specifically, like Luke Skywalker showing up and Ahsoka showing up and Bo-Katan showing up and Boba Fett showing up and Grogu even existing, all that was kept a secret and kept pretty damn well. Cad Bane showing up at the Book of Boba Fett was kept a secret. Of course, Anakin in the World Between Worlds was kind of leaked out there, but not really. All that stuff with Peridia and this new galaxy, they can keep a pretty damn good secret. So, in terms of whether or not Ahsoka will be killed off in season 2, I doubt it, first of all. But we won't find out until we watch the show. Like, there's no way. Yeah. But fans speculate that she'll die at some point because she's a Force ghost, or we think she's a Force ghost because she calls out to Rey in The Rise of Skywalker. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean she's dead. I mean, she could be calling out across the galaxy to Rey, but hey, only time will tell. Yeah. Oh, the Tales of the Underworld trailer. Oh my God, we didn't even get to the Tales of the Underworld trailer. Okay, we'll watch that first. We're watching that first. Okay? Okay. So Tales of the Underworld, if you forgot about it, Asajj Ventress, Cad Bane are back for a Tales of the Underworld that comes out in 6 days. 6 days. So, this is the newest teaser trailer, 30-second spot, whatever you want to call it, that we got for Tales of the Underworld.
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin.
How do I know that you're not going to kill me?
Arrest them all.
I don't want that life anymore.
There are rumors, Marshal. Bane's come back. We know he was your friend.
I'll handle it.
You have to let this go.
He's going to pay for what he did.
So a little bit of I guess more into the story of what's going on in this season of Tales of the Underworld. It's gone very under the radar because when this trailer first dropped, we were hyped up. More Asajj Ventress explaining what was going on with the Dark Disciple, the end of it, how she survived, how she was in the Bad Batch in the first place. All that will be explained in this series. Cad Bane, on the other hand, we really don't know what's going on. He's fighting his former best friend. Possibly something about him having a child. Who the hell knows? We have no idea. But it is setting up more of these characters, especially Asajj Ventress, to get more story told after the events of this series. Now, after that trailer dropped, when all the hype began for Tales of the Underworld, we got Star Wars Celebration, where we got some insane amount of announcements about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, a new Star Wars movie, a Star Wars trilogy, the Maul series, Ahsoka Season 2 got some wild news, the Fortnite new season is all about Star Wars. There was some wild news that we got from Star Wars Celebration. And then Andor began. The first 3 episodes of Andor dropped last Tuesday. We're getting 3 more tomorrow. So this show almost got pushed under the rug. Like, people really didn't... It's like we almost forgot about it until today. Until they dropped this trailer to remind us, oh yeah, in 6 days, we're getting this.
I was Count Dooku's lead assassin.
How do I know that you're not going to kill me?
Arrest them all.
So we still don't know who this kid is.
I don't want...
I mean, the theories have been like Baylan Skoll or even, oh, we got a new member. Hang on one sec. It could be Baylan Skoll. It could be Jod Nana Wood. But those 2 characters both have blue eyes, and this character clearly does not. But with that being said, it's likely to be a brand new character, I think. Yeah. But even still, an Asajj Ventress apprentice is pretty damn important. Pretty damn important, if I do say so myself. And we're going to get to see Asajj Ventress with their nice yellow lightsaber going all
I don't want that life anymore.
There are rumors, Marshal. Bane's come back. We know he was your friend.
I'll handle it.
So then we get a little bit of the side of the Cad Bane side of the story. This is best friend or ex-best friend who turned into the marshal of this city, and Cad Bane, who of course is an evil bounty hunter now. We don't know much else. Like, this is about it. This is all we really know about these 2 characters. But whatever it ends up being, it's going to be pretty damn important.
He's your friend.
I'll handle it.
You have to let this go.
He's going to pay for what he did.
What did he do? I don't know. They're not showing much in these trailers. Really none at all. So I think they're keeping some secrets over there yet again with this Tales of the Underworld. But tell me in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for Tales of the Underworld? Because with all this crazy stuff going around it, with Andor Season 2 coming out right now and all the announcements of Star Wars Celebration, it's kind of hard to grasp where the excitement level is at for this Tales of the Underworld show. It's Cad Bane. It's Asajj Ventress. Pretty damn awesome stuff. Tell me in the chat, where are we at with excitement level for Tales of the Underworld? And with that, 50 Thunder gifted a membership. I appreciate that. Yeah, people forget that we can gift memberships. Gifted memberships are greatly appreciated. And Young Yeez got the membership. So Young Yeez, welcome to the people who love Star Wars. Welcome to the people who love Star Wars. I appreciate that, 50 Thunder. I really, really do. Okay. Well, let's see. Where's the hype level at? 10 out of 10? Okay. 10, 8, 6, 8, 8, 6-ish, 6.6. Nice. See what you did there. 6, 33 out of 10. Okay. 8, 7.5, 10, 10. Okay. So we're kind of a mixed bag, but pretty excited. A bunch of 10s, actually, but some 6s, some 7s. That's probably where I'm at. It's probably in the middle there. Probably around an 8-ish. I think the excitement would be a lot higher if we weren't in the middle of an Andor season. Like if we weren't going to watch episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Andor tomorrow, I feel like the excitement level for this series, Tales of the Underworld, would be a lot higher. But because Andor is taking away from that, it feels a little bit lower. Just a little bit. Yeah. So, no, Young Yeez he's a frequent live stream catcher. Not all the time, but yeah, he is. It's a person who deserves it. Anthony says, high excitement for Tales of the Underworld, Mike. Some Star Wars fans have said that the preteen could be the character of Pedro from the Clone Wars, involving the Padawans that's seeking out their kyber crystals. I have heard that theory as well. The only difference there is, again, the eye color is with that character and the hair color are a little bit different, but it could be that they're just trying to tone it down a little bit. I don't know. But yes, I have heard that theory as well. Indeed. Okay, now I think we can get to Andor Season 2 stuff. Yes? Are we good? Was there anything else crazy that we haven't gotten to yet? Tales of the Underworld, Ian McDiarmid dropping bombshells, Darth Plagueis, Ahsoka Season 2. I think we hit it all. I think it's time to give our final predictions for Andor Season 2, Episode 4, 5, and 6. I think it's time. So throw in your crazy predictions into the chat and let me try to blow your mind, okay? I like to at least blow some people's minds every once in a while, okay? Now, this theory was brought to me from somebody in the comment section of one of the live streams that we had recently. And honestly, I don't remember who it was, so shout out to you. You probably know who you are, and I don't. So shout out to you. But the theory was brought up because Saw Gerrera is, of course, going to be a big role in this second season. But Saw's story at this time period, from 3 BBY to 2 BBY, has sort of been established already. From Star Wars Rebels, where he appears multiple times through Season 3 and Season 4, to even a Leia novel where he attacks Naboo. So let me pull this up really quickly. And while I do, throw in your craziest predictions in the chat for this second season for this 4, 5, 6 episodes of Andor Season 2. Where is this? I literally opened it yesterday. It should be right here. I opened so many tabs, I guess. Let's see. Here we go. So, this is called The Strike on... Oh, hang on. The Strike on Onam... Onom? Onom. Sure. The strike on this place. The strike on Onom was a bombing orchestrated by Saw Gerrera's partisans on Onom to assassinate Imperial Moff Panaka. So if you think that Panaka name is familiar, that's because it is. That's the same Panaka from the prequel trilogy. And yes, he did turn into a Moff for the Empire. If you don't know who I'm talking about, this handsome fellow right here. This is when he becomes a Moff. This is when he's a captain from the prequel trilogy. Yeah. So if you didn't know, he became a Moff during the time of the Empire, and that's what we're talking about here. So, Saw Gerrera tried to kill him in 3 BBY, which is when these next 3 episodes, tomorrow's 3 episodes, will take place in the Star Wars timeline, is 3 BBY. So that happens tomorrow. Yes? Are you with me so far? So, Panaka had just been visited by Queen Dalm, sure, of Naboo. So just visited by the Queen of Naboo and Princess Leia Organa of Alderaan. The 2 women leaving Panaka's mere minutes before it was bombed. What's going on here, chat? Oh, okay, I fixed it. Never mind. Just mere minutes before it was bombed. On her way into the chalet, sure, whatever, Leia Organa took note of the civilian workers wearing a breath mask. She saw the worker flee the scene after the bombing. Leia's adoptive parents, sure, her mom and dad, sure, were quite angry about Panaka's death. Despite Panaka's strong personal loyalty to Emperor Palpatine, he had still been a decent man, and the Organas thought that they could have worked together to help vulnerable civilians. Panaka's death, however, prevented him from relaying to Palpatine his suspicions that Leia, adopted daughter of the House of Organas, was the biological daughter of the long-deceased Senator Padme Amidala of Naboo. So Panaka caught on to this, and this is from the Leia novel called Leia, Princess of Alderaan. I believe this is a fairly new-ish novel. Let me double-check that. Leia, Princess of Alderaan. Yeah, so released in 2017. So it's pretty new. It's within the last 10 years. Give me a 1 to chat if you've read this novel. I've not. So that's why this is news to me. This is news to me. But this claims that Panaka knew that Leia was the biological daughter of Senator Amidala, of Naboo, and was going to tell Palpatine, or at least relay the message of his suspicions. Now, the reason that is so significant is because this all happens in 3 BBY, the same time that we're going to see the next 3 episodes tomorrow of Andor Season 2. Now, 3 BBY is an entire year in the Star Wars timeline. And we are only going to be seeing 3 days of that year tomorrow. So a lot can happen. A lot can happen within those, a year, I guess, in the timeline. But Saw Gerrera will be in tomorrow's episodes. Yes, the boom from the trailer. Imagine. When Saw Gerrera goes boom in the trailer, this is what he's talking about. Yeah. This could possibly allow us to see Leia Organa. Now, I don't think Leia will be in Andor Season 2. If she is, it would be a surprise to be sure. What a welcome one. I just don't think they would go that route. They don't want to bring in these cameos. Leia, of all people, is a very difficult cameo to bring to life because Carrie Fisher's not here anymore. So, do I think we will actually see this happen? Maybe not. But a reference to this is highly likely, if it has already happened. Is this canon or Legends? This is canon. Canon, the novel is canon. It's all canon. So this information of where Saw Gerrera is in 3 BBY, at least at some point in 3 BBY, is canon. So whatever Saw is up to, clearly killing Moffs of the Empire, Moff Panaka, that's going to be a problem for the rebellion. Killing off Moffs is not usually a good thing. And it's likely to be mentioned, especially if Krennic is involved in the next 3 episodes, which I think he will be. This event may be shown, but it will definitely be mentioned. Yeah. So this is the attack on the place, at least in the drawing. And yeah, so that's what Saw is up to at this point in the timeline. Now, Saw Gerrera is going to be in these next 3 episodes. He wasn't in the first 3. We know he's going to be a very important piece to the puzzle in this second season. But the big issue now is that we have all these different story arcs for characters like Mon Mothma and like Saw Gerrera in other projects. They appear in Star Wars Rebels, and that needs to almost be explained, but also still take place. And from what we know, Mon Mothma, the Gorman Massacre, all that stuff happens in 2 BBY. So this week, tomorrow's 3 episodes, episode 4, 5, and 6, will not be the Gorman Massacre. They'll be probably more set up towards the Gorman Massacre, seeing the Empire building up their barricades and stuff on Gorman. But we won't see the massacre itself until next week, episodes 7, 8, 9. And that's when Mon Mothma has to escape Coruscant, and Cassian has to help her escape, and then the Rebels crew comes in and rescues Mon and takes her to the Rebel base, and all that stuff happens as we see it happen in Rebels. But I don't think that there will be an overlap. I don't think the 2 stories will overlap in terms of, I don't think we'll see the Ghost crew in Andor Season 2. I don't think Harrison Dula it's possible because those characters do exist in live action now, but I don't think it will happen. I just don't think it will. But tell me in the chat, what do you think's going on in these next 3 episodes? And will it involve the story that we just talked about with Leia Organa on Naboo? We've already gotten multiple mentions of Naboo in this second season of Andor. And do you guys remember, there's probably multiple years ago now because Andor Season 2 has been filming for so long, at least a year ago. Do you remember the rumors of Naboo being in Andor Season 2? Do you remember that being a rumor? I don't know if it was ever collaborated by many reliable sources. I don't remember at all. But all I do remember is that Naboo was a part of some rumor around Andor Season 2. Probably around the time when it was filming. But if Naboo is involved in the second season at all, then this might be where we see it. This might be how we see Saw Gerrera just blow up Moff Panaka. Now, we talked about legacy characters being recast. Well, I'm guessing Panaka would be recast. So if we're blowing him up, then that would technically be a legacy recast, like Tony Gilroy has confirmed there will be some legacy characters who are recast in this second season. So, could all this be a reality? Could we be seeing Naboo tomorrow? That'd be pretty wild. K2SO doesn't appear until episode 8. Yeah, I don't think he would. He doesn't appear until the Gorman Massacre, so he's probably not going to be in these next 3 episodes. Yeah. That's what the boom is from the trailer? Probably. Yeah. My prediction is that Cyril and Dedra get it on. Oh, yeah, I don't know if that'll happen this week or the following week, but yeah, we know that happens at some point. Anthony says, holy shit, I didn't even know that. I've always been curious as to what happened to Captain Panaka, and if he could show up in the Mandoverse as a seasoned veteran. No, he dies to Saw Gerrera after becoming a Moff of the Empire. Like, talk about a crazy story. It's pretty much because it's not that he liked the Empire. It's more so that he thought that the galaxy needed order during the time of the Clone Wars. And he was on the side of the Empire at first, because the Empire gave order to the galaxy. There's a lot of people in the galaxy that see the Empire as the good guys. The only reason we as the audience know that they're bad guys is because we see the bad stuff. Not everybody sees the bad stuff, you know? Yeah. He killed Panaka before he could tell Palpatine that Leia was Anakin's daughter. Yeah. That's insane. That's insane. So I wonder if any of that will be fleshed out, you know? We shall see. 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, crazy prediction. Cyril's dripping mother poisons. Oh, like freaking mother. Poisons Dedra, and that's the choking scene. Luthen is Cyril's long lost father. Yep, it's crazy. No, and no. No. It would be crazy if she poisoned her, but She's being force choked by Vader, you know, obviously. Yeah. Can we speak about Panaka here? What the F, just sliding under the radar into the Empire? What a weasel. Yes and no. Again, like I said, some people saw the Empire as the solution. There was a galaxy-wide war going on for 4 years. And it needed to end because innocent lives were dying all over the place. And the Empire brought in peace. So right off the bat, for the first couple of years of the Empire, it was just peace. And that's what people liked. Now, some people, like the Bad Batch, like the Jedi, obviously saw that the Empire was the bad guys. They knew who Palpatine was and they knew how evil he was, but not the everyday citizen of the galaxy. They saw peace, and they liked that. Yeah. Melshi too, yeah, that's true. Melshi should be involved in this week's episodes too. What Cassian is up to? Here's the deal. This is a year later. So where we left off at the end of episode 3 last week with Tacoma riding off with Cinta and Cassian and Bix as Brazo died on Mina Rao, like it'll be a year later, a full year later from that moment. So a lot can happen in that year, and the time in between has to sort of be filled out, if you will, by the story that's told in episodes 4, 5, and 6. So there needs to be some sort of explanation as to what happened to Tacoma. I think he probably will have died. And that will lead to some distrust between Luthen and Mon Mothma. Also, there's this whole situation. You have this party where Mon Mothma and Perrin off to the side here and Luthen are in attendance alongside Krennic and the Imperials. So what this party is, I have no idea. Whatever this party is or whatever event it is that he's wearing this special thing, this will probably happen this week. Because we know next week, episodes 7, 8, 9, that's the Gorman Massacre. 10, 11, 12, I couldn't even guess. Like, that's going to be the fallout of the Gorman Massacre. It's going to be whatever the hell the climactic ending of this season is. That'll be 10, 11, 12. But next week, 7, 8, 9, will be the Gorman Massacre. It will be when all hell breaks loose, when Mon Mothma calls out Palpatine in the Senate, when she has to be taken off of Coruscant. All that stuff will happen next week. Tomorrow, I feel like we're going in a little blind here. We don't really know much about tomorrow's episodes. I think this party will happen with Krennic and with Mon Mothma and Luthen. So how the three of them are at the same party, I don't know. I have no idea. Your guess is as good as mine. But these next 3 episodes will more likely be a surprise. Like, we don't know much. Like, it won't be the Gorman Massacre, but something big will happen. You know? I can't take any more weddings. No, I don't think it'll be a wedding. No. The wedding is over. You know? Rebel Sith, what's up? How we doing? It's obviously before the yeah, this is before the massacre. Yeah. Because, well, Mon Mothma leaves the Senate. So she's not going to be in the same room as Krennic after the massacre happens. Kino Loy must return. Well, there was rumors of that because Andy Serkis himself said he was coming back. But I don't know if that will happen. I don't know. I really don't. Yeah. Yeah. This is where Crosshair nails a clean headshot on Palpatine. I don't think so. I don't think so. Justin says, Andor Season 2 from here on out will be legendary regardless of the outcome. Well, I do have to remind you, because it's my job, I do have to remind you that Andor currently sits at a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. A 96 on Rotten Tomatoes. And Rotten Tomatoes, if you're watching, and we know that you are, fix your website. Once you scroll down past this, it goes away. Well, I guess it goes up to the top corner, but I want it right. See, like it's nowhere right now. It's nowhere. So Rotten Tomatoes, if you're watching this video, because of course you are, what else would you be doing with your fine Monday afternoon? Fix your website. God. But it currently has a 96 on Rotten Tomatoes and an 80 as an audience score. This is because the audience has only seen the first 3 episodes. This is because the critics have seen all 12. And they pretty much are all saying the same thing. The back half of the season is unbelievably good. 96 out of 100, unbelievably good. Some of the best Star Wars we've ever seen, unbelievably good. One of the best TV shows, period, end of sentence, unbelievably good. So a 96 out of 100 is very high praise. So the rest of the season moving forward, because I don't think the first 3 episodes were a 96 out of 100. They were good, don't get me wrong, they were really good. Not a 96 out of 100. So we really got to hit the ground running here with the next 3 episodes to get the hype way higher going into the back half of the season. Yeah. For sure. Last time I checked, Andor Season 2 on Disney Plus is number 1 on trending. That hopefully is the case. I mean, Disney Plus, it should be number 1. But that's good. That's good news. Good news. So, yeah, I think the rest of the season is going to be pretty damn good. If 107 people, critics that are very critical of the Star Wars universe, if 107 people can come together and agree that this show is a 96 out of 100, one of the greatest Star Wars projects of all time, then I think we're in for a good week of Andor content. Yeah. Just maybe. Just maybe. Oh, wait. Let me end this poll. This is still the Palpatine poll? Okay, let me end this. Let me end that poll and start up a new one. By the way, 81% of you say yes, you want a young Palpatine show. Okay. Do you think... Whoops. Actually... I can only pull up one thing here, so let's think about this one. Do you think Luthen dies this week? Yes or no? Here's the deal. Brazo, died last week. Big event for Cassian's story. This is season 2 of Andor, leading into Rogue One. In Rogue One, Andor says that he lost everything. So, before you go, no, Luthen's obviously not going to die. He has to die at some point in this season. Has to. Now, I'm not going to say he's going to die tomorrow, 100% confirmed, because that's just no. But he has to die before the end of the season. And when you think about what could happen in next week after the Gorman Massacre and all that stuff happens, we don't see much of Luthen in any of the trailers. So, yes, he's at this party this week with Mon Mothma and Krennic, but where is he after that? Where is he? So what if these big events for Cassian are really just him seeing everybody die in his life? There goes Mike predicting another death. No, I'm serious, chat. I'm serious. What if the first episode is Brazo's death? This episode's are Luthen's death. The next episodes are, I don't know, Bix's death. And then we go right into Rogue One. He's on Gorman? No, he's not. We don't know that. How do we know he's on Gorman? Plus, Gorman's going to be in these next 3 episodes because Tony Gilroy has said that Gorman will be in 5 of the episodes. 5. And then Cassian dies. Well, Cassian dies in Rogue One, yes. I think Luthen will die later on in the season. You're probably right. But let's not forget that this is a very death-centered show, if you will. Nobody's due this week? I don't know. There's the whole Cinta and Vel thing, too. We know that Vel makes it to Yavin 4, but does Cinta? I don't know. You can't sit here and tell me that Luthen is guaranteed to survive this week when he's also guaranteed to die by the end of this series. And let me give you a harsh reality, chat. After tomorrow's 3 episodes, we will be halfway done with Andor Season 2. Halfway. The season will be halfway over. So a lot has to be told within these next 3 episodes, because that'll be the halfway mark of the entire season. So a lot of deaths are coming. Quite a lot. And it's only been 2 weeks, and yet we've already seen, or we're about to see, half of the season. Does Dedra get force choked this week? Interesting. Does Dedra get force choked this week? I don't think so. I think that happens in the whole aftermath of the Gorman massacre. I think when Krennic brings her in to interrogate her and stuff like that, that happens after the fact. But we'll see. Luthen has yet to sacrifice everything. His life is next. Hope it's glorious. It will be. There's no doubt that Luthen's death is not going to be epic. He has given all of his life to this rebellion, and he has given just everything to make this a reality. This is really pissing me off today. I don't know what it is, but it's too reflective. There we go. That's better. It's the little things, Chad. But his send-off will be glorious. I agree. Or at least I hope. Boom. Okay. That brings up a great point. I wanted to watch the first 2 trailers for Andor to just look back at what we haven't seen yet. Okay? So let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? With the first trailer that dropped all those months ago. Remember when this dropped and everybody's like, this music sucks. This isn't Star Wars. Yeah.
We're in a war. You want to fight? Or you want to win? Revolution starts now.
Yeah!
Well,
The revolution starts now! It is a banger.
Remember this moment. You're here, you're right here, and you're ready to fight.
Okay. I was banging too much. I gotta pay attention this time. Okay. Let's see what we have seen and what we haven't seen yet. This we have not seen. All the stuff with Gorman we have not seen yet. So this is no. Still haven't seen that. This is Cassian on Coruscant.
We're in a war.
That's Bix going to hopefully get her revenge for Dr. Gorst, but we haven't seen it yet.
We're in a war.
Yavin 4. Nope.
You want to fight?
That we have seen. This we have seen. This we have seen. That we have seen. This is when Brazos dies, little do we know. That we've seen. That we've seen. All this we've seen. Critically acclaimed. This we have not. So Saw Gerrera is going to be a big character moving forward for the rest of the season. We're going to see him in different looks. This is the older Saw. This is the Rogue One Saw. It looks like he might actually even be on Jedha right now. This is Rogue One Saw. We are going to see multiple versions of Saw Gerrera in this season because we see a lot younger version of him in different trailers. And he looks a lot different. He's not as mangled up. He doesn't have the oxygen tank. He doesn't have any of this other stuff. So this we have not seen yet. Will it be this week? No. But we've not seen it yet. Jordan Rennie with a very generous $5 holla says, why can't I see what this is? Hang on. Let me see what Jordan said. Jordan said, we haven't seen Krennic at the wedding yet. How long is this wedding? Well, no, Jordan, that's not the wedding. You're talking about this? We thought it was the wedding, but it's not. Clearly, it's a different event because the wedding is over. The wedding is done. That wedding does not last a whole year. But yes, it's true. That event has not been seen yet. But Saw Gerrera. We've seen the wedding. That's over. That we haven't seen of Luthen yet. Cooking something. Or something. I don't even know.
Come to me. The revolution starts
Now.
I think this is where we're going to see Cassian and Bix in tomorrow's episodes. Because we talked about Saw Gerrera. We talked about some Mon Mothma. We talked about Dedra being on Gorman and Cyril probably with her. But where are Bix and Cassian? A year after their best friend just died, and the whole thing happened with Bix, what are they doing now? And this seems like this is what they're doing. I don't know if this is Coruscant. Could be. But also could be a different capital or something like I don't know. It could be a new planet. We've already gotten introduced to 4 new planets in the first 3 episodes. But this, to me, seems like where we could be seeing Cassian and Bix in tomorrow's episodes. Tomorrow. And it might just be the revenge tour has begun. Like where we see Dr. Gorst being tortured in that one trailer. Actually, I might have that trailer pulled up right here. I might have it right here because last stream I was like, I can never find that trailer. And then I was like, I'm going to save it right now so that I can find the trailer. And I think I have the trailer. So hang on. Hang on, chat. Yeah, this one.
Emergency broadcast. If you can hear.
If you can hear me. Okay. That. This looks to be Dr. Gorst getting tortured in the Imperial facility. I Hodge with a very generous $2 holla says, what's the plan with what? Oh, what's the plan with the tie though? Just steal it? Yeah, I don't know. Well, he was supposed to be dropping it off to somebody else and that didn't work. So I have no idea. But Dr. Gorst seems to be getting tortured in this scene here. And to me, I think that means that Bix and Cassian have gotten to him. Like, obviously, the Empire's not going to be using this guy's torture device on him. Seems a little pointless. But this could be what's happening tomorrow for Cassian and Bix. Like, this might be where their story is going in 4, 5, and 6. So, when we see the characters of Bix and Cassian blowing up this building here, this could be happening in tomorrow's episode. That would explain where their characters are, because we have all these different storylines going on at the same time. You got the Krennic and Dedra stuff, you got the Luthen and Mon Mothma stuff, and then you got the Cassian and Bix stuff. 3 big storylines. Last week there was 4, but the Bix and Cassian one sort of combined at the end. So now moving into 4, 5, 6, you have Cassian and Bix together, going on some sort of revenge tour against the Empire. Are they still working with Luthen? Probably. But Bix looks pretty pissed. I mean, we saw what happened to her at the end of episode 3, and Brazos dies to the Empire. So the both of them are probably pretty pissed too. So getting that revenge is highly likely in 4, 5, and 6. Yeah. But Saw was never the main character, so hopefully this will be his time to shine at least a little bit. Yeah, Saw will be in this season a lot more. He's in so many of these trailers, especially in this one too.
What a swell part.
We haven't seen this scene yet. We did see Krennic on this planet, but not in front of the Death Star. I don't know. Let's actually, I want to pull this one up. Let's pull it up, chat. Pull it up. Because you guys are not thinking that Luthen's dying tomorrow, but that's okay. That's okay. I don't think he will either. Yeah. However, the big question is, will we see the Death Star tomorrow? Yes or no? Will we see the Death Star tomorrow? Will this happen in 4, 5, and 6? Devin says 4, 5, 6 is probably Andor and Bix on Gorman. I don't know if Bix is going to be on Gorman. Chat, I know it's become like the craziest joke now that I just predict deaths all the time, but what if Bix dies this week? And before you just go, Mike's absolutely insane yet again, hear me out for a second, okay? Hear me out. Where in any of the trailers do we see Bix with Cassian after the Gorman massacre? No. Hear me out, chat. Hear me out, okay? We see this.
Now.
This. If you're going to tell me that this is in tomorrow's episodes, Bix and Cassian on the revenge tour, and Bix gets her revenge on Dr. Gorst and all that great stuff happens, yay, woohoo, boom, great. Who's on Gorman? Cassian. We see him with the blaster. We see him by himself fighting the pedestrians, all that stuff, fighting K2 and stuff. Who's not on Gorman? Bix. Who's helping Mon Mothma escape Coruscant? Cassian. Who's not on Coruscant helping Mon Mothma escape? Bix. Who's on the Yavin 4 base? Cassian in this trailer. Who is not? Bix. Who's in Rogue One? Cassian. Who's not? Bix. So there's no events that take place after these 3 episodes coming up tomorrow that involve Bix. So Bix has to be in every scene? No. But it doesn't seem like Bix and Cassian are going to want to break up or split up at any point after what happened on Mina Row. At least if I were them, I wouldn't want to split up. After what happened to her with that Imperial guy and what happened to Brazo, he freaking died. I wouldn't think they'd split up. And yet they split up constantly? I don't think so. Cassian's on Gorman. Cassian's on Coruscant. Cassian's on Yavin 4 by himself. No Bix. And this theory just popped into my head right now, so I'm kind of going through it as I'm thinking about it, like trying to see if I can remember any scenes where Bix is with Cassian after the events of Gorman, and I can't. I'd love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong, chat. But I don't think I am here. It was around this time last week. It was around this Monday prediction live stream where we all came up with the idea that Brazo could die in the first 3 episodes. It was when they dropped that scene of the stormtroopers shooting at Brazo, and then that one stormtrooper slowly puts it up, and I was like, what if Brazo dies there? And you guys, of course, were like, oh, there goes Mike again. Killing off another character. But. Bix? But Bix? I don't know. I might have to. Okay, my final predictions for tomorrow's episodes are Bix will die. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong.
What a swell party this is.
Again, so much of Saw and his crew in these trailers. Saw Gerrera is going to be, at least in these next 3 episodes, quite a bit. And this is not Bix, right? That's Clea. And this looks to be the same. Is that Bix? Is this Clea or Bix? Looks like Clea to me. Brazo RIP. Could be Gorman, but it might be Coruscant. Oh, this is the party. Hang on. Is that Davo? If Davos is there too, then what is this event? It's not the wedding can't be going on for a whole nother year, chat. That's not how weddings work. That is not how weddings work, chat. So what is this? What is this event? I predict that Krennic and Saw will die in Rogue One. That's a great prediction. You know what? I back that. I back that one. Is this like their wedding part 2? Like, what's going on here, Chet? I think Luthen dies at the end of this arc, not the beginning of the next. Or the beginning of the next, sorry. It sounds like, from the reviews, Clea maybe? Has a really big arc. Everybody loves her, so she's going to have to step in as the new leader. I could see that. I mean, she's already sort of feeling that. A baby shower? Okay, but why would they invite Krennic to a baby shower? It's yours and Sam's wedding going to be as long as is yours and Sam's wedding going to be as long as Mon Mothma's daughter? Well, no, if it's going to be a year long, no, no. Ron, what's up? I appreciate it. Mon's hair is so short. Well, it does get a lot shorter. Remember, in Rogue One, Mon Mothma's hair is really short. Like, really short. So what event would happen, chat, where Davos, Mon Mothma, Krennic, Imperial officers, and Luthen would be invited to? What would be happening here? Krennic is probably there due to Takoma's death, but why would Luthen be there? The death of Lita? God, now you guys are killing off more people than me. I don't know. I feel like it'd have to be something on Coruscant, right? I don't even know. Maybe on Naboo. Maybe it's a funeral or something for the bombing on Naboo that we were just talking about. Do you think that the Star Destroyer will land on the protester still? No. Even if it does, I don't think we'll see that. Yeah. Trying to resell the statue? I don't think so. I feel like they kind of wanted that to be on Cinderella forever. Maybe it's somebody else's wedding. But then why would Luthen be there? Luthen's involvement is weird. Like, Mon Mothma and Krennic being in the same room is one thing, but Davos being there, Luthen being there, this is sort of where all sides meet. And this could happen tomorrow. Actually, it's likely to happen tomorrow because Mon Mothma is going to have to leave Coruscant in the next week, and then she won't ever go face-to-face with Krennic again. We saw this. Haven't seen this, but again, more of Saw's guys. Oh, this is a party. Hang on, chat. This is on Coruscant, and this is a party, and Mon Mothma's wearing the same dress. Okay, and there's Davos. Hang on, chat. Hang on, chat. We got something going on here. So, big old party on Coruscant. Davos is there. Mon Mothma, Perrin. Mon Mothma's wearing the same dress that she's wearing in this picture right here. Luthen is not seen, and neither is Krennic. Interesting. So a year after the wedding, they're sort of reacquainting on Coruscant at this weird party. What is the party for? I don't know, but this honestly leads me to believe we're going to be seeing a lot of familiar faces here. And by familiar faces, I mean like background Imperials, like maybe even we'll see some like Yularen. I wouldn't say Palpatine or anything like that, but maybe some more mentions of Palpatine. Palpatine's such a great character. Will we see him? I don't know. It seems unlikely at this point. I would hate it if all this footage was cutting room floor. Oh, definitely not. They wouldn't put it in the trailer then. Yeah. So this is some sort of event on Coruscant that involves Davos, Mon Mothma, Krennic, and Luthen. What it is, we don't know, but it will likely happen, very likely happen in tomorrow's episode. So we're getting somewhere. This is what's happening with Davos, Mon, Luthen, and Krennic. Well, Dedra and Cyril are probably on Gorman, setting up Gorman. Well, Cassian and Bix are going around getting revenge. And Saw Gerrera is doing whatever the hell Saw Gerrera is doing. Maybe blowing up Moff Panaka's house and killing him on Naboo. Maybe that's where everybody is. It's the Bendu Day party. Oh, that would be kind of cool. Empire Day. That would be kind of cool. But why would Luthen be there? Like, Luthen being there is so weird. He's just an owner of a gallery. Like, why is he there? I don't know. K2SO, which we probably won't see till like somebody was saying episode 8. I think that's probably right. We won't see him till the back half of the season. We saw that. Haven't seen this though. Or this. Or that. This looks like it happens at the party. Whoa, who's this crazy lady? This looks like a bunch. Oh, that's Mon Mothma right there. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is Mon. She's not wearing the same dress, but she's wearing a coat of some sort. And somebody's pointing a blaster at them. I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea. But this is pretty interesting. It doesn't look like the same party from before, because Mon Mothma's wearing a different outfit. But this lady's pointing a blaster at them. That's on Gorman. I thought that was in the trailer. That Wilhelm scream, I thought that was in the trailer. 50 Thunder with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that quite a bit, says Mike. What do you think the alien count will be for the next 3 episodes? We don't see many. Great chat, by the way. Well, first of all, thank you. What do I think the alien count will be? A lot more. If we're going to Coruscant and we're going to this party, it's going to be a lot more. I mean, we see a ton in just these couple frames from this party. If I can find it, yeah. If you look at this right here, alien, Twi'lek, maybe also a Twi'lek, alien. I guess that's it. But a bunch of aliens over there. Maybe one right there. I can't tell. But yeah, the complaints of no aliens. I guess the Mothma family is not really friends with the aliens because there wasn't many at the wedding. There was some, not many.
Remember this moment. You're here. You're right here.
More Saw. Now, we don't really know where he is and why this guy's wearing a gas mask. But this is the Saw from before. So this is not the Saw. This is not the Saw we see, the Seesaw that we saw at the. We don't see the Seesaw at the beginning of this trailer. So this Saw that we saw at the beginning of this trailer. This is a lot older Saw. You can see the white in his hair and in his beard. And this is the Rogue One Saw with the gas mask and all that, or the oxygen mask and all that. But here, he doesn't have the oxygen mask. His hair is more dark, less white in it. His armor's more shiny and less dull, and it's younger Saw.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
So I think that's happening tomorrow. Whoever he's yelling at, wherever he is, whatever's going on here, I think that. This might be Wilmot, but I doubt it. Saw will be in the next 3 episodes. I think that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Look to the left of Davo when you passed looking for aliens. Isn't that a rebel leader from Rogue One? Hang on. Say what now? Say what now? To the left of Davo. My left or his left? His left is his wife. My left is this person. You talking about this guy over here? I don't know who you mean. Oh, this girl. Huh. I know exactly who you're talking about. Hang on. It's too hard to tell from that distance. But let's see. Rebels, Rogue One. All the rebels. Where is that? Come on. Come on. Looking for a specific scene where they're all fighting or they're all yelling at each other in the room, but I can't find it. Okay. Well, I think you might be onto something, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Okay. Yeah, I caught it. It could be. It could be. One thing that reviewers are saying is that there's a shit ton of aliens in this season. They seem to think that they listened to the complaints of season 1. I mean, obviously they did. You know. It's the only complaint for season 1. I mean, it's people looking for something to complain about. That's what it is. And for season 1, it was so good that the only complaint they could come up with was there's not enough aliens. Yeah. That's how far we've come. Yeah. It's quite wild. Actually, I got sent a video. Sorry. I got sent a video about the Acolyte, and the video was pretty much like, somebody was like, Mike, explain this to me. I was like, okay, gladly. Love the Acolyte. And it was like, the Acolyte makes no sense. Because Kymir tells the people in the forests that he's a Sith. But we know for a fact, because Ki-Adi-Mundi says in the Phantom Menace, or is it the Phantom Menace? In the Phantom Menace that a Sith hasn't been around for 1,000 years, or a millennia. So the Acolyte breaks canon. It's almost like they didn't watch the show. It's almost like they didn't even watch the show. Because Kymir, all the people he tells that he is a Sith die. They'll get killed by him. It's ridiculous, but whatever. That's besides the point. It's the same thing. Andor, they were looking for anything and everything to complain about. And that anything and everything was aliens. Not enough aliens. Too many bricks. Like this ridiculous stuff that just, I mean, come on. Like, this is some of the best Star Wars we've seen ever. And you're going to really complain about the lack of aliens? Because guess what? Go rewatch season 1. There's a shit ton of aliens. A shit ton, especially on Ferrix. I mean, come on. Come on. Will we get any more of Cyril's mom? Yes. Yes, we will, Jordan. I think she'll be on Gorman, but that's definitely not the last we're seeing of Cyril's mom, for sure. For sure. 9 Jedi dying that one night. Was it 9? I forgot. Yeah. Was it 9? I thought it was more. Yeah, that night episode of The Acolyte is just incredible. Yeah. One of the YouTubers of hate, said that they will not review Andor anymore after even his followers couldn't agree with his negativity. That's pretty good. If they're being open about that, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, you make money off of being negative about Star Wars. When it's so good that you can't even be negative, it's hard to make a living, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. 100% Justin. The night is definitely the best episode. Maybe the finale, but the night is also very good. Yeah. I appreciate it, Empire Films. Don't worry about it. Maybe the complaint is not enough aliens in the prison. Well, that's true too. But then you could also complain that there's not enough women in the prison, because guess what? There's 0. It's an all-male, no alien prison. Yeah. So that wasn't a complaint. It wasn't no women. It was no aliens. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, let's get to the other trailer here. The second trailer, and see how many scenes we haven't seen. See how many scenes we haven't seen from this trailer. So this was the second one that dropped about a week later.
I came with you to be part of something.
Still haven't seen this, but that's the Gorman Massacre. This is going to be when Cassian goes to save Mon on Coruscant.
Came with you to be part of something.
I think like the Gorman Massacre won't happen this week, but this could happen this week. I Hodge with a very generous $2 haul. I appreciate that. It says, "Mother, you're dripping" impression. Oh, of Cyril. I don't know if I could pull that up because it would be copyrighted. But "Mother, you're dripping." I don't know. I can't really do a good Cyril impression, but I appreciate it nonetheless. But I think we could see this actually in tomorrow's episodes. Just this aerial view of Gorman. We can see Gorman. We just won't get the massacre.
The Empire cannot win.
Seen all this. Oh, what? Not this. Hang on. This is Jeddah. Saw Gerrera on Jeddah. This is probably in the last couple episodes. Yes.
It's a different kind of mission.
This is going to be probably next week when she's calling out the Emperor in the Senate. So I don't think this will be this week. It could be, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll get multiple Senate ones. I don't know.
If it goes up in flames,
It will burn.
This scene right here makes me believe that Luthen might not die this week, because this could be later on, like next week. It could be this week, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. Yeah.
Very brightly.
But if I'm giving up everything, I want to win. We have to.
So I think that conversation happens tomorrow too. This whole,
I want to win.
because if she's giving up everything, she wants to win type deal, you know?
We have to. We must stand together. We will be crushed.
Who's she talking to here? This looks to be the same episode where she was in the Senate. This is what she was wearing underneath it. Underneath that blue coat. I don't know who she's talking to here, but probably Luthen, because we need to stand together or we'll be crushed. Guessing it's Luthen.
Resistance is
This is probably going to be post Gorman Massacre, because it's Dedra being interrogated by Krennic. I don't see this happening tomorrow, but we'll see.
absurd.
It's a weapon.
Do you think she's talking to Bail Organa there? Ooh, interesting.
We will be crushed.
Huh, I didn't even think of that, because Bail and Mon Mothma do work together through this time. Like they do have communication. Like Mon and Bail in Rogue One are still close. Like they have this whole deleted scenes from the Revenge of the Sith where they pretty much start the rebellion. Like all those deleted scenes with Padme where they're starting the rebellion against Palpatine. That starts in Revenge of the Sith. So Bail and Mon Mothma have this history together. So this could be Bail Organa. That would be pretty wild. That's a great theory right there. I like that a lot.
Resistance is absurd.
It's a weapon.
So this. Will we see the Death Star tomorrow? What do you guys, what are we thinking, chat? Let me check the poll real quick. Wow, that's almost 50-50. 53 to 47. 53% of you say yes. You do think we'll see the Death Star tomorrow. Okay. So that means that this scene could be tomorrow. But Clea knows about it. They got a weapon.
It's a weapon.
It's a weapon. She knows about it. She doesn't know maybe what it is, that it's the Death Star, but she knows that they have this super weapon.
They're building a weapon.
More of Saw's people.
The monster will come for us all.
Monster will come for us all.
Revolution
Getting force choked, maybe?
is not for the saying. You're right here, and you're ready.
Jeez. Jordan, I'll get to that in 1 second. Yeah, so I think a lot of this could be happening today. I mean, tomorrow, sorry. Because the Gorman Massacre is happening the next week. So pretty much all that isn't the Gorman Massacre is either this week, by that I mean tomorrow, or the last week.
Ready to fight.
There's a future here.
They're making us think this was the wedding, but we know for a fact already that it's not. Because they're making us think that these are the same event, and they are not.
Here. For those who dare. Welcome to the rebellion.
So a lot. The answer to the question, how many scenes from these trailers have we not seen, is a lot. Jordan with a very generous $5 haul says, who will be revealed to be Uncle Harlow? I think it's Luthen. Honestly, I think we're looking too far into it when it comes to Uncle Harlow. I don't think his reveal will be of any importance. I think it's just some character that is connected to Cyril in some sort of way. I mean, it would be kind of cool if it was somebody that we knew, but I doubt it. Yeah. Another Mike who loves Star Wars, a very generous $1 $2 holo, sorry, I appreciate it. Says the orphan die. Wait, what? The not orphan. The aura die meme will be pretty sweet right now. I don't. Oprah die. What? I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but I appreciate it anyway. Okay. Sure. Okay. Yeah. So pretty much the gist of the message today is we are still going in very blind to tomorrow's 3 episodes. We don't really know much at all. Saw Gerrera will be involved quite a bit. So will Krennic in the whole Gorman stuff. That'll be big. This whole party with Davos on Coruscant, with Mon Mothma and Luthen and Krennic all in attendance. That will most likely happen this week. Cassian and Bix might be going on a killing spree. Bix might die, but so much of it is just still left up in the air. We still know so little. But let me end this poll. That's the funnest part, because we get to sit here and predict all the crazy stuff that could happen in the next 3 episodes, and we got 3 episodes tomorrow night. So the watch party will begin at 8:30 tomorrow. Don't forget about that. Watch party starts at 8:30. We'll probably go to like midnight because it's 3 episodes. But yeah, that'll be a lot of fun. So don't miss out on that. And yeah, smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. How many likes do we have, chat? Am I going to be upset? Am I going to be upset, chat? What? 70 likes? We have 100 plus people here this whole time. 70 likes, chat? God. Huge shout outs to another Mike who loves Star Wars, Jordan Rennie, I Haja, Jordan Rennie, 50 Thunderer, Jordan Rennie, 50 for the very generous super chats and membership gifted, Jordan Rennie, Agnes, appreciate you, Jordan Rennie, Jordan, and then Jordan again, Darth Plagueis lives, I appreciate you all so much more than you'll ever know, and Jordan Rennie, I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Super chats, memberships keep the lights on over here, so I appreciate it. The Oprah meme I sent you last week. Oprah meme? Oh, yeah. Okay, hang on. I'm so confused. Yeah, let me check. Yes, this is perfect. This has to be like a, yeah. So pretty much what I'm saying here is tomorrow's episodes are going to go like this. Bix is going to die. Luthen's going to die. Everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to die. Yeah. That's the Oprah meme we're talking about here. Yeah. Uncle Harlow is Saw Gerrera. I don't know about that. That'd be kind of crazy. No way, because Uncle Harlow has all these people in the Empire. That's how he gets to connect with, or to get Cyril the job. Yeah. Many Bothans died smashing the like button. Well, you know, you do what you have to do. If many Bothans have to die, then many Bothans have to die. Just smash a freaking like in the stream. I don't know what the hell to tell you. They have to die. They have to die. That's just part of business, you know? Okay, but with that being said, smash a freaking like on the stream. Hit subscribe. Watch out for the watch party at 8:30 tomorrow. 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Watch out for a short later on tonight. And, of course, the rest of your lives. Yeah. And may the force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Yeah. Oh, what if Uncle Harlow was Davos? That would be kind of crazy. I kind of like that. Possibly. All right. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. Smash a freaking like on this stream if you have not already. And yeah. Hope you have a great rest of your evening. Great rest of your lives. And good night, everybody. That was crazy. Okay.